It's gonna be good.
I think it's not too late for someone to join.
Who's trying to join?
Rico.
Jackal, yeah, Rico.
That's what he just said, though. If they wanted to come in, they can say, like, hey. And they said, like, hey.
Yeah, all they have to do is ask, and then we can just let them in. Typically.
So.
Hi, Rico. Let me go ahead and assign you a thing.
Sorry about that. How is everyone?
You're good.
I'm tired.
Hey. To be
While-
another.
While I'm setting up, Maniacal, can you run Rico through what we're doing tonight and how we're changing it up?
Yes. So tonight is the gaming topic. So pretty much it's not just video games, but like, you know, if you want to talk about tabletop gaming and stuff like that, you want to talk about your favorite. Okay. And when you have the floor, you have the floor. But if you have something you want to add to someone else's conversation, or if someone wants to add to your conversation, they can let me or Zeno know in Stream VC text by waving a hand or getting our attention, and then we will allow you to put in that point, but we'll also let you know that someone's going to want to add to your point.
That's fine. I think that's very fair and understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, it's gonna be a good night to test out this format as well, and see like how moving forward this format might be a good way to just start utilizing.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, of course, you know that's more for like when we're well aware that the topic at hand can be heated. When the topic is like something we're like clearly just here to shoot the shit, then like by all means.
Yeah, we don't need to, but like when it's a hot button topic, when someone not saying names, feels like he has a very strong opinion about a game, we'd like him.
Fuck all these.
The McChicken. Always remember, you will want a chicken whenever I'm sad.
That rat looks suspiciously like a rat.
Oh my god.
Doing
Oh my god. Can you believe it? That rat is throwing it back.
Dean just has that voice, dude.
What? I'm nasally.
Like if you try, you do have that voice, man.
Working chicken. I mean, I guess.
I'm also like partly sick, so I'm like really nasally right now.
No.
Use it to your advantage.
Good soup.
Good soup.
Good soup.
God, if that was how some people got their voice acting career, they're like, I have to say sick 24/7 for me to do my job.
Dude, there are people who listen.
I've been healthy since 2020.
You've played Fallout New Vegas. Tell me how some of these guys are able to like press down on their throat or something to like make it like scruffy as fuck.
Yeah. I am just an unwell human being, and I've used it to my advantage. But I want to die.
Is it like how what's the name of the voice actor for SpongeBob?
Oh God, yeah, he.
What's his name?
I can't remember. All I know is he started to hate his job.
Well, here's the thing. That episode when SpongeBob was actually sick, he was sick like in recording.
Damn.
So it was kind of ironic that SpongeBob was in a sick episode and he voice acted SpongeBob while sick.
Yeah. That's. Mm.
And now you gotta wonder if he went out and got sick on purpose.
You don't get sick on purpose unless like you surround yourself by things that can get you sick.
I mean,
Oh,
you've clearly never been to a convention.
What do you sound
Yeah,
like the equivalent of? Clearly, you've never owned an air fryer.
Yeah,
I don't need an
never
air
been-
fryer to live.
No,
Yes, you do.
but
That's the life source of everyone.
That's the life source of every American.
The
You need
fountain
an
of
air
youth.
fryer.
dude,
Oh,
back when the microwave came out,
oh.
everyone was like, "You don't need a microwave," but you were looked down upon if you didn't have a microwave. Now it's that, but with air fryers.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Like, I feel like it would taste the same as the microwave. Maybe I'm wrong, but like, I don't feel like
You're
there's much of a difference. Like,
extremely wrong because
I don't need my, I don't
I
need my
thought-
mac and cheese to be crispy.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought it just tastes the same as the microwave or using a fry strainer in a conventional oven. No, apparently the way it works is as an air fryer, it's like a toaster oven, but it has a fan that circulates the air somehow and basically cooks every inch of the food like it's in a conventional oven, but makes every section of the food crispy, just without the oil.
Crispy.
Crispy.
Crispy chicken
And I
nuggets.
said crispy.
Crispy.
Crispy chicken.
No, well, there's this image of have you ever watched The Dark Knight The Dark Knight?
For the life of me, I don't remember it. Most Batman movies suck.
There was a meme based around that specific movie. What someone did was they took the picture of Two-Face that they well, it was it was the moment when Harvey Dent showed off his second face, so that's when he became Two-Face. And what someone did,
he's talking to Joker or something.
yeah, what someone did was they took that image and they put the same image both sides of his face, and they like removed his nose, and he just had like a really funny scrunched up face, and on the bottom text it just said Quispy. I think it's funny.
Motherfucker be looking like a ghoul. Yeah, the Fallout universe is weird. It's okay to call someone a ghoul, but the second you call him feral, oh god, all hell breaks loose.
Because
mean-
God save you if any of them hear like a slur. Aside from the fact that most ghouls call normal people fucking smooth skins.
It's
Yeah,
funny
see,
because it's weird because like it's kind of like the word like I'm sorry for on stream, but it's like the N word like new. It's like you
You're
can
the
call
only
someone.
black dude here. You're allowed to say it.
Yeah, it's like
Wait,
you
hold
it's
on.
like
I'm pretty sure either Zeno's streaming or
that's why I say I don't want to just say it, but
I
like
don't think yeah, we are streaming now. We're just not like we're live, but we haven't started. I think we're
Yeah,
still
but
waiting for the
but yeah, it's like
But-
it's like when I can say it, it's fine. But as soon as if I see Maniacal trying to say that word, I'm looking at him funny. I'm like, hey, you want to slow down there, Chief? Huh?
now hold it right there.
Now wait, just a goddamn. I say, hold on there, boy.
Yeah, which is hilarious to me because that's the most offensive thing someone like me could say. But I could think of a lot ruder shit to say,
Yeah,
like
fair.
than an abbreviated way the Spanish word for black is said.
Hmm.
You can't even say the Korean word for you.
Ah, yeah. I know what you are speaking of, sir.
God
It is
damn, he
annoying.
does look like a fucking ghoul.
Crispy.
He does
They,
look like a rot face. He looks like
they made that man crispy.
uh, yeah, no. I'm kind of an asshole to ghouls, especially if they're an asshole to me.
That's kind of racist.
Hey,
Not
guys.
racist.
Sorry about that. Sorry about
Species.
that. Hi, I'm back.
Xenophobic.
So, what? Wait, what's going on?
Maniacal is a racist against ghouls.
Okay. Well, sorry about the delay, everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and do the introduction.
Skin sand motherfuckers.
And welcome everyone back to another Sundays at the Lich Lounge, where last time we had an interesting topic that took us into space and beyond, but this time we're taking it back down to a topic that we had discussed back when it was just the Nerdy Talks with Xenolich. We are going to be discussing gaming in a much more controlled environment, and pretty much we asked everyone who is participating today to be coming on in with their favorite game. I will go ahead and pass it on over to my good co-host Maniacal, and as always, I am one of your co-hosts, Xenolich.
Hello, it's your boy Maniacal, here today with your favorite group of people. I think our first guest hasn't been on for a while, but he has come back today to enjoy this fine topic of gaming, where we will be talking about, games we like, what games mean for us, and just general shooting the shit for gaming in general. But without further ado, Rico, it's up to you, man.
Thank you, I guess. Appreciate it.
Just introduce yourself.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Rico. I'm just back here after a long time. It's good to be back. But
Damn, you don't play D&D?
I mean, I do play D&D. Like, what do I need to say my character?
What
Like,
do you
it's been a
play?
while.
It's
I
generally
play
it's generally like a thing we've noticed that people will be like, oh hey, I'm this and I usually play this on this day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Well, my name still says Jaquel, but now my new character on Thursdays is Etheria Azure, air ganassi that has star patterns on her skin.
There we go. On to the next one.
I am Young Dagu, aka Dean. I play Mighty Fish on Thursday Group.
Hell yeah. And lastly, the man who is muted. I don't know if he is aware of this.
I'm here.
There we go.
Was looking at something. I am Hive. I don't have a character, but I play in the Tuesday group because I died last time again.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully next week, my new character will be revealed.
Yes, indeed. Along
Worked
with the
very
fact that we
hard
have
on
a
it.
new person coming on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, we do have a new person as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
he's gonna fit nicely in a grave.
right, and as well,
Yeah.
just to let everyone know, just because we are still continuing this, we still have our sub goal, where as soon as we get to 10 subs, we will be adding something new to the homebrew world, something I am dreading and both looking forward to, the Devil Fruits from One Piece. And on top of this is just an example of one of our first sub goals we can set up. After this, we can probably do something more for just the channel, something for the audience to do, just generally something new. But this is the current sub goal we have at the moment. But with all the introductions and such out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Maniacal, you want to take it away?
Yeah, and I think we'll start with before we get into the whole oh, my favorite game is this. I wanted to start with what it is that got you into gaming and why you still do it. Like, for me, like what got me into gaming, like tabletop, video games, all that, is it was just a sense of escapism, I guess. But it was also, I just thought it was really fascinating that, you know, you have all these worlds and stuff, like, or you could be entertained Like you have worlds to go explore. You can be entertained by a simple cardboard cutout with a few pieces. Like it's just like gaming is just something that is fascinating to me because of what it can do and what it can represent, and that's what kind of keeps me playing. Is to be able to go explore worlds, be able to sit down, play a card game with some friends and bullshit, and still have something to do, and just like it's a fun interactive form of entertainment that I absolutely enjoy being a part of. So, and that's kind of why I got into it in the first place. Is it was like it was a way to have like you can meet someone new anywhere in the world, and you might not have anything to talk it about, but everyone has at least played one type of game, like be it a card game, a video game, just a game that they've played with their family, and you can introduce that to someone, or you can be like, "Hey, let's play this," and then suddenly you have a way to just sit there and talk to a person and have a way to communicate and still have common ground while you learn about each other, you know?
Hell yeah. I can do it. I would say, I know when it comes to gaming, I know a lot of us are easily to just jump onto the whole, oh, such and such video game is my favorite thing, and for the other half of us, it's maybe about like the board games. Like obviously for me, Dungeons and Dragons is a huge thing, and it would be no surprise to say that Dungeons and Dragons is my favorite thing to do. But there are definitely other board games out there that I would 100% recommend and want to put like second. I would probably, if when it comes to me, I'll be discussing more or less my second favorite because everyone already knows what my first favorite is when it comes to board games.
No, I don't think I do.
Oh, well, you know what? You can go fuck yourself. And your next character's dead.
Oh,
Before it's even conceived, it died. It.
I starts foaming at the mouth.
So like,
Yeah. All right. But yeah, who wants? Is there anyone want to tag on in to talk about their game, or sorry, how they got into it, or
how they got into it and why they're still into it, you know?
yeah, who wants to go ahead and start us off?
Can it be anything?
Just what got you into it, like, and why do you still game?
Well, I would say mostly friends. I didn't grow up with a lot of games, but I did have like a GameCube, a home computer, um and my favorite console of all time, the GameCube. Um, all three of them culminated in me like getting into a whole bunch of stuff, but I think what got me more into the games that I play were mostly through friends. Like a lot of it peaked around high school. Um, in this club I used to be in, where it was meant to be like a way for people to play like tabletop games, but we ended up just playing Smash Bros a lot because one of my friends would bring his Wii U to school, and that got me really into Smash. And even though I don't play as much Smash as I used to, it got me into like a bunch of different fighting games because that was my jumping off point. Um, but other than that, I guess like I also got into like tabletop games like specifically Magic the Gathering through high school too, in that same club because we were told to stop playing Smash in there. So I learned how to play Magic, and I made my first deck, which was an Eldrazi deck. And that's how I got really into card games. And I guess card games can also lead into other games like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and things like that. So I guess there's a lot of things, but mostly friends from high school that got me into like investing more times in the games I wanted to play.
Hell yeah. I know when it came from me, Magic was always one of the harder ones to get into. But child me just like, ooh, pretty card arc over.
I'm someone who likes getting a job done as simply and as simply as possible without thinking, but also letting it be really fun. So when I discovered my Merfolk deck and built it by myself, or like I had a lot of help, but like when I finally had it, like and I could play it physically, I was so proud of myself of that. because I would win games, and it really meant a lot that like, hey, I'm able to compete with like people in my school just because of how many people actually played Magic.
Yeah, right. Especially because it's like what? It's like they're like usually hidden in the woodwork. Like for me, I never knew that there was an entire like probably more obvious, but I didn't know that there was an entire Yu-Gi-Oh community within my high school. It was one of those ones where it's like, oh shit, you guys have been here the whole time.
Uh, I told you about the school tourney. I don't want to drag on too long, but I did tell you about like my school's like little magic tourney. Did I?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, it's how I got Copala, and that really means a lot to me too.
Hell yeah. Well, hi, Rico. Either of you guys want to chime on in with your experience?
Uh, I know if it was like a game, but like I'll start with something simple. Like I guess the earliest form of board game I liked was what is it? It's not Eels and Escalators. What's it called? Snakes and Ladders. There we go. Snakes and Ladders. I liked playing a lot. And then again, if I know if it comes to games, if it's also physical things like actual items like cards, but I liked Beyblade growing up, and that was a form of game I liked playing. You know, the whole spinning tops until one flies out of the ring, and that was always pretty fun to me. Platformers are fun for a genre of game, but like the one game I will always say that always makes me that made me realize I can like games outside of my comfort zone as long as they have have an aesthetic that appeals to me is games like Borderlands, because Borderlands is a first-person shooter. I'm bad at them. I don't really like them, but the story, the character, and even like some of the abilities always make me feel like, even as someone that doesn't really do well at first-person shooters, it has enough to make me not only interested in it, but to make me feel like, hey, I can start to learn to do this, and maybe just enjoy it.
Oh yeah. Add into that. I love how immediately you thought of like eels and escalators before you even said the proper name of the game. That just I don't know, that warmed my heart quite a bit. But yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, how about you?
So what's the question again? Just so I know.
It was like what your first experience getting into gaming, what brought you into it, and like why you're still playing.
My first experience gaming, it's my dad's brother. Call him Uncle Vince, and he had a Nintendo 64 with GoldenEye and Donkey Kong Country, I believe. And I really enjoyed GoldenEye. I still think GoldenEye kind of holds up today. It's pretty fun. And Donkey Kong Country was a bitch, but it was still really fun. And I kind of just went from there.
Oh yeah, no. I remember playing Donkey Kong Country because for me it was like a cousin that also had it, and just kind of leads on there. You have the older generation that appears to be adding into the younger generation for at least some of us,
Yeah.
and yeah, like for me at least, it was funny enough. I don't remember the first game that I ever played was I think it was Alien or Aliens on the Game Boy Color, and specifically because my dad had it. I think he like it was one of those things like he got it. He told me I wasn't allowed to play it, and then finally he just realized that like he played it through and he's like, oh yeah, this game's kind of boring. He just forgot about it. So then I started playing only to realize, oh man, my child brain can't wrap around the instructions for this. So I'm just gonna go play Pokemon from my cousin, and that's when I was like playing Pokemon Red, and was by far like my first game experience, and it was just one of those things that, for me, for the most part, just kind of distracted me enough that I eventually just got hooked on it. And
Yeah.
nowadays, I still play just because gaming's a nice way to like just do what you normally can't do and escape from reality.
And I thought everything else was kind of fucking boring,
Yeah, that's also true. I mean, I contrary, you were the one who led this topic. Did you added in onto it, right?
Uh, ooh, yeah, I added on to it. It basically is just like, you know, I think you guys all touch the topic pretty well. So, like, if you guys want, we can move on to the whole favorite game thing and start berating High for his being Dark Souls.
Hey, that's my favorite too.
So we start berating Xeno and High for liking Dark Souls.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're just alienating him at this point.
Yeah. Or sending them to rehab because clearly they have a thing about beating their head against brick walls, which is unhealthy.
Listen,
Honestly, I think the game's like fairly focused on people who don't mind being masochists.
it's not even so much that. It's more like the actual what's what I'm looking for. It's the satisfaction you get when you finally have broken through.
It's
In place of a certain someone who's usually the chaotic voice. I have never busted as big of a nut as I ever have in a game.
Yeah, because the thing is with that game, it doesn't like at least try and like cover it. Because most games try and hide its difficulty a little bit. Maybe it's not as hard, or maybe it's not as like challenging as you might think it is. Dark Souls is straight up. This is our skill ceiling. You either come in, get your ass beat, and try and get better, or just stay, cry about it, and get out of here.
I had to AFK. What the fuck happened?
Now,
You,
they were ostracizing us for saying that Dark Souls and From Software games are our favorite
I'm
games.
not ostracizing you. I'm making it very clear that Dark Souls makes it very clear that it shows what type of crowd that it wants to play, and I respect that. Well,
Yeah.
am I that kind of person? No, but at least it's face forward. It doesn't try to hide the fact that maybe it's an easy game and it beats your ass. It tells you from the get go you are going to get your ass beat.
yeah. Anyone who says they've played all the From Software games, I'm guessing are people that also say harder, daddy.
No, that's ridiculous.
My favorite
I'm
from
gonna
software.
No,
game.
that's ridiculous.
Here, so it's here.
Speaking of FromSoft,
Yeah, go ahead, Hive. Lead us in. What's your
you
favorite
remember?
game?
You remember? Well, no, I was gonna talk about. You remember that whole thing about Dark Souls Online?
Yes.
So the person that found that it wasn't like a malicious hacker. He kind of does that stuff to see if there's any exploits that could be used maliciously. And I
Oh.
think he tried to like contact FromSoft about it, but they still never like got back to him. So I wonder what's gonna happen about that. But now that you mention it, one of my favorite games of all time is called Dark Souls 2. It is probably the more fantastical Dark Souls game. It doesn't really feel all that much like a Souls game because of how like grandiose it is, especially in the DLCs. But I don't know. It's just I love the jank. The PvP was the best PvP in any of the games. Still is. People still play a fuck ton today. I don't know about that currently, considering what's happening, but I'm sure people still are playing. So
You know,
Great.
for a troll
I have
like
a lot
you,
of
I'm pretty
memories.
sure. A troll like you, I'm pretty sure Dark Souls 2 PvP was like the place to be.
Yeah,
Yes.
because like it was so diverse and like there wasn't really like a clear air quotes meta, except for Haviland. That was a very trying time for all of us.
Well, let's also not forget about this is that, like, for the most part, Dark Souls games, I think there's how I put it. I would put it as there's three categories for playing a Dark Souls game. There is the casual who just wants to get the game done, and essentially just has fun playing through the game itself. This refers to anyone who's like, oh, I'm gonna go through the game with this build, and I'm gonna go through the game with this build. It's due to the sheer fun of it. The second category is obviously player versus player. There are different people who will make build and run through the game not because of the fact that they want to fight the bosses, but because they have to fight the bosses for the unique drops, the stats. They need to level up their characters to get to the PvP ranking. And you can tell that usually the people who are into PvP will stop leveling after a certain point.
Yeah.
Whereas like the casual player will just play through. And then there is the how do I put it? I'll put this as a category called content creator, where there is people who who are doing some challenge runs of the game, speed runs, or hell, even like for the sake of just, hey, I'm going to create something where I'm doing New Game Plus 7 fight where I one shot all the bosses. These are people who will play through the game and have fun because of the sheer challenge that the game will naturally imposes, not from the players themselves. Dean?
Dean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot what the name of this content creator is, but it's like something Inferno, and he makes some really funny content about like I think Halo and Dark Souls, because he made a mod that specifically to give Halo weapons to Dark Souls characters, and I think that's like the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Yes, I know what content creator.
Imagine getting. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I know what content creator you're talking about because the first thing he really did was called Curse Halo, and he just made Halo 1 cursed as hell, and then he's like, I have committed
Inferno Plus.
Inferno Plus. Dude's amazing. Dude's like insane. But what? Go ahead and what else was it you
Oh,
needed to say,
because
Dean?
I thought it was really funny how like you could just toss a sticky grenade on a on a random character, and then he's trying not to die, but then he just blows up, and he becomes soulless now.
Yeah. So, but there is another category for someone who would play Dark Souls, and I think it fits in with the casual. It's what I call a lore seeker. It's pretty much people that are just like there for the in-depth story of games, like from Legend of Zelda to Dark Souls to Halo, uh, Elder Scrolls. Like when there's like a deeper story than what the game's subsurface story is, people like that will dive deep into those games. Like we're talking data dumps, looking at every piece of readable content, going and checking for every type of dialogue, and they will categorize that shit.
A game theory.
Oh my god, right?
Well, yeah, and that is kind of part of it. Game theory, a game theorist and stuff like that. But I'm kind of one of those people. I really like the lore behind a story. Like I've noticed that lately, like when it comes to gaming, when it comes to games and stuff, I'm more interested in the story behind the game than I am the game itself.
Yes. Dark Souls lore is super in depth and deep, and I love it.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a reward for anybody who could like figure out the lore behind Dark Souls, and no one's claimed it yet?
I had heard about that, but at the same time, I think the thing is that like there's no there's already like content creators out there that explain how the lore is put out. I don't know if that reward was one of those things where like if no one's claimed it, it's probably because it was like one of those like, oh yeah, we actually we didn't mean it because the story's already been out. Because there's literally an entire YouTube channel body video as far as one of them goes. There are others, but he's the one who I recall as like the lore man of Dark Souls.
He's the OG lore master.
Yeah. So like the fact that we have someone who's like dedicated to that. So if you watch all his videos within the time, you will get the story of Dark Souls. Like
yeah,
it was a weird thing that I'd never heard much from coming out of that. But I think Hi, what else would you like to bring up as far as your favorite game?
well, it's like all the games as a whole, and it's the people. I understand where they're coming from, but I kind of dislike this mindset, considering you're playing the game and that's a mechanic in the game. Is people who hate playing the game and getting invaded, but when they want to play with their friends and they still complain about getting invaded. It's a mechanic of the game, and it's gonna happen regardless whether you like it or not. So don't complain about it, or just play offline.
The thing is, it's okay to have the mechanic, but it should be a mechanic that should be fucking optional.
Actually, fun fact, it is.
No.
You can just not play online.
Yeah, don't play online.
No. You guys are pretty much just saying like, hey, you want to play with your friend, you still have to be invaded. No, you should be able to play with your friends and still not have to deal with other assholes.
No. Allow me here. At least here. Allow me this. obviously there's an intended way that the game plays, and so when you provide any sort of balance, this is the way any game works, by the way. When you leverage yourself higher, it means that the game needs to do something to balance that leverage that you gain out of it.
Yeah,
Hence
plus
why-
it's always going to be one person versus what, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
In some cases, Dark Souls 3, 5 people.
you and of course, okay. When let's say it's a 1v2, there's usually one of two ways. Either the people are too, no offense, inexperienced to know how to fight an invader, or the two people know how to play the game and they just whoop on the invader's ass because he dared to fight a 2v1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but do you know how many times I was playing with you, Zeno, and we had to halt our progress because some asshole decided to invade? And it wasn't just like, oh, I wasn't like, Zeno's here. At least we could just hurry and whoop his ass. No, it's most of the time we have to sit there for like 10 minutes while this fucker does some cheesy bullshit.
Yeah,
What
because
I'm
I'm not a
saying
good
is there's-
PvPer.
Which means there's no reason that they can't have what's called online with friends and online PvP. Every other fucking game has a system for it. So why the fuck is From Software going like, it's to balance the game? No, it's not to balance the game. It's because you guys don't want to fucking make a separate server.
Oh, actually, hold on. No. Let me hold on. Before you go off on that tangent, sir. Two things. One, I like how Skittles points out the last time we got invaded, you had a lot of fun with it because you learned. And two, the fact that you just said like every other game. If it was like every other game, then you would play the other games.
Also, invading has actual lore talked about by Solaire.
Mhm.
It's actual in-game lore. Like,
Yeah. So, lore
there
wise, it
are
belongs.
other chosen dead that are also traversing their own worlds, and they can transverse to other worlds.
And whether I had fun with it or not is irrelevant. What I'm
Mhm.
saying is there are people out there who just want to play a game and not deal with this shit. But they
Play
also
offline.
want to play with and they want to play with a friend.
Here, if I may.
You've invaded.
At this point, by the way, if someone is complaining about it, they are going into Dark Souls knowing what it brings. To walk into a club and complain that the music is too loud is ridiculous when that is what some of them do.
By the way, in Elden Ring, when you have the only way to invade is when someone has a summon, with their friend. So when you play with your friend, you are going to be getting invaded.
Yeah, that's at least the one upgrade that they've done from the previous games. In the previous games, you could be playing by yourself, but you're playing online. You'll get invaded while you're playing by yourself.
There are items where you can use them and get invaded by yourself, but primarily if you're playing with a friend, you will be invaded by other people if they are, doing low level invasions, because those are really fun. So it is a literal lore part of the game.
Let me go ahead and stop
way
this.
where you get a summon.
Hive. Let me go ahead and stop this. What was that, Dean?
I was explaining something.
Slowly stop being about our favorite games and more about Dark Souls.
No.
That's
Excuse
my
me.
game.
Side note.
That's my favorite game.
Hold on.
Yeah.
This is why we expected a long tangent because this is one of the topics.
Yes, and that's why we went with Dark Souls first to get it out of the way.
But
yes.
I was trying to compare invading to summoning because that's the same thing.
Yeah, and I think going over the fact that it's a balance system in the game, it's like you'll only get invaded when you add to make the game easier.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was gonna say is what's number 4? Let's take it away from the Dark Souls side. Why don't we go ahead and pick on one of our other guests? I haven't heard from either Dean or Rico. So one of you, do you wanna? I'm sorry, what was that, Maniacal? You're trying to say something?
In this country music bar.
Hold on, wait. Maniacal, you're trying to say something?
I was just gonna say I was gonna ask Rico to go, but I'll let either Dean or Rico, whoever wants to go.
No, it sounded like Rico was speaking up as well. Go ahead, Rico.
Okay. I don't know. When it comes to games, at least for me, I think the one game that made me like the genre is Pokemon, and Pokemon made me realize something where it's like, damn, I actually don't mind turn-based RPGs. Cause like even like now, I sometimes like I kind of like breeze through some of the lore stuff, but like when I actually take the time to read it, I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty serious. This is pretty fun. It's like, and I know some people don't like the slowness of it because it's turn at a time, but I just feel like it's a good way of like muscle, like like of training that muscle that is your brain, just kind of like thinking of solutions you probably couldn't like in like an open type of game, and I find it very interesting.
I I can see where you're coming from because turn-based RPGs, those are the kind of games I like to play when I want to be able to just relax but still think. Because with turn-based RPGs, you do have a lot more thinking you have to do because you have to go, okay, this attack does this ability activates this. If I go and collect this item for this character, their stats go way up, and then you can, and depending on how hard or how easy you want to make the game, you basically have to kind of think as you do your turn based. Like, all right, if I'm going to use this character, like, Octopath Traveler is a turn based RPG that I have yet to fucking finish, uh, but I fucking love. But you have 8 characters. Each one does something different. Each one's good for a different area. Each character can learn uh, another character's trade or abilities to where you can do like fusion abilities, or you could have someone that's like a healer but also a warrior, and and it's a turn-based RPG to where you have to think and sit there and think about that. But at the same time, you're not like having to like use split second reaction time and memorize patterns and shit, and learn the meta of v a PvP, and that goes for anything with PvP. I'm not trying to attack Dark
Right.
Souls again, but it's like anything like Valorant, Overwatch, or fighting games. Like you have to learn like you have to be really good on quick on your feet.
Yeah. I was
with
gonna
like
say
your
is
button press and stuff.
Rico raised his hand. He wants to add into your topic.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry, Rico.
Oh, you're fine. Because I agree with you. Like, I've only ever played the demo for Octopath Traveler, but even then, the amount of things that they let you do and like kind of experience through that is amazing. And then you're right. Like, there are RPGs like that you can, and that's the thing. I feel like the beauty of like what of things like RPGs. What's it called? The I forgot the actual saying, but it's basically having the ability to have so much more with a limited framework, and I like that kind of thing because again, a lot of things in RPG, like the same thing you said about Octopath Traveler, a lot of those mechanics you realistically like they don't feel as rewarding or they're harder to implement in games like I'll say for a really popular one, Final Fantasy 14. Most of the skills in that game are predetermined because again, it's an online game where people, have to be kind of on the same playing field. So if like one player can do this but the other can't, then that becomes unfair and unbalanced, and that's a whole different thing. But you know what I mean? It's like for some games, like what you said for Octopath Traveler, it's a lot easier to implement those type of things for an RPG than something that's a little bit more open world.
Oh yeah, and MMO RPGs, which are mass multi online player games.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, there's like a set amount of skills that you can do. Like World of Warcraft is a good one, to where uh, you have to know so many of the metas for WoW that it's ridiculous. And uh, Elder Scrolls Online has gotten that way too. It's just like you've got to know what race is the best, what class is gonna get you the farthest, like which weapon is this, like which raid do you do, and it's just as a RPG in itself where you are just playing by yourself and you're just there for the story and the fun. Go ahead, Rico.
Yeah. No, sorry. I just wanted to say as well. I just this will just be a little thing we're done, and then we get back to just different game stuff. But I do agree with you. When it comes to games, like there are all types of genres, platformers, all that, and I love those and are great. But I don't know. I guess for me personally, I guess because of I'm not too competitive when it comes to certain games. Like, how do I say this? Metas, I believe, are definitely one of those things in a game that are, in my opinion, a necessary evil because it can help promote a game forward in a lot of ways and make people innovate. But at the same time, the problem with that is when they find their quote unquote solution or ultimate problem solve or ultimate way to solve a problem, then everyone does it. And then it just becomes this slow, monotonous, boring thing. And I mean, I get it. People do metas as a form of enjoying the game because of course you want to win a game and that's great, but I get for me personally I feel like when everyone just does the same thing and don't try to do the thing that the game was start out to be, like just be its own, be creative, enjoy the game in your own way, then I feel like then everyone's just trying to copy each other because if that's the only way that you can have fun, then personally for me I don't want to play that game.
Yeah.
It's like card games, like, oh, here's a specific deck that everyone has to play, or otherwise no one has fun.
Oh well.
I will say,
Yeah.
at least adding on into like, so obviously none we're all familiar with the term meta in a game as was being brought in by this topic, and my 2 cents at least on it is that I think meta is very important to keep a game alive. One such infamous game that never seems to die because legends never die is League of Legends. League has a constantly shifting meta. And whether or not it's assassin, it's mages, it's juggernauts, back to assassins, and for some reason they bring assassins back. Okay, regardless, meta helps keep a game alive because it revitalizes old playing styles, makes new playing styles, and people have to adjust to what is happening as the seasons change. Especially because every time a new season is introduced, they will bring in either a new mechanic, new items, and on top of this, there's always new champions to be learning learning how to play and how to counter in the game. Constantly doing this is what keeps these games entertaining for people, despite having the toxic community that League of Legends has. It's why League has its other games that are functioning extremely well, such as Runeterra, such as Valorant, League itself, TFT. There's different games that they keep doing, and all they're doing is just getting bigger because they keep having all these different endorsements. They have this stuff all because the game has constantly shifting metas that make the game constantly interesting to play. And I know I say that word a lot, but it is because it is a thing that they are always on.
Do you mind if I step in for a second?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, go ahead.
So
Dean.
it's also important to understand that metas are oftentimes important for the competitive aspect of most games. If a game never had like a continuously like progressing meta, no one would want to play it because then what would you consider high level play?
The thing is what me and I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, but what me and Rico are saying is when certain aspects of a game like when there's aspects of a game where there is a meta, me and Rico are kind of just like we don't want to be involved, so we don't get involved. Like,
Well, for me, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like, cause I don't mind if there's a meta, and yes, like I can. I if I have to inevitably deal with it, then I'll deal with it. My thing is that, and Zeno brought up this was a good point, and Dean is that, and it is the key word, constantly evolving metas, and that's what I believe is the good part about a meta when and this is also on the company side, not just the players of the company, because I feel like a smart company knows that once players find a solution, their immediate response should be trying as quickly as they possibly can try to like counterbalance it, because that is the problem with certain companies is that they'll let a meta run for too long, and then by the time they've made the effort to try and fix the game, it's already too late. People are sick of it because a meta that should have been gone a long time ago is still here. But I agree, metas are a necessary thing for me, I believe. But the reason why I call them a necessary evil is as long as they're a necessary evil if the company doesn't change, and if it doesn't change and it's still there, yes, it keeps the game alive, but if that change doesn't come sooner rather than later, it's just going to kill itself by digging itself into one singular meta that is the only way for the game to be viable.
I mean, that's like saying people shouldn't play high tiers, or if there's like a really good comp team, they shouldn't be allowed to play it because it's too good for anyone to bother watching it.
I think it's very important for like this. There need to be things that are broken in a game because everyone will abuse it at the same time. The people who try to abuse said broken thing, especially because competitive games have ways of either directly countering or dealing with said broken thing. So, for example, going back to the entire thing with League, if there is a current champion that is broken, that champion 100% of the time is usually banned in competitive play because the competitive
Kha'Zix when Worlds is around.
right, like the because the pros know what's going on, and at the same time, the pros are also fully aware about what the others are good at playing. So even if they go into something without full knowledge of what the champion is, they're not going to ban a champion that the other people aren't playing at all.
Mhm.
They'll usually ban their best picks. So
True.
having
Like-
high level skill with units or broke champions or cards, whatever, that are broken, adds into the game by teaching others how to counter it too.
I I'm pretty sure no one here plays uh Rainbow Six Siege, or do you?
I personally
know
know.
that-
I
I
have
watch it.
before.
I don't play.
I don't play
wait.
it either, but what I think is really interesting about Rainbow is that they have a feature where between rounds they can actually choose a character to be banned off of the next team's turn, because both teams are switching between two different types of operators, because they're defensive operators and offensive operators. So between matches, they can ban an operator that's giving them too much trouble, meaning that their players have to adapt to it, play a different operator, and still be able to win without the overpowered operators, because they'll be the first to be taken away from the opposing team, because then that gives them more breathing room. So it gives them
Mhm.
more advantages, but it also means that they have to deal with another operator that they're not accustomed to.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying. Like I will never shit on like not having any period. I'm just saying, like you said, I agree. It does help people evolve and change. I just saying long term ones that I feel like are a bad health for a game shouldn't be around for an extended period of time. Is it broken and it will be there for a while? I can accept that. But if it, like, for example, if the same meta has been around for, I don't know, like this probably an egregious thing, like 5 years, then would you still play the same game if it's been that way? If that's the only way you know how to play?
Uh, this hopefully this is my last bit of input, but if you break down any game, it's an elaborate game of rock paper scissors. If scissors was buffed, would you think people wouldn't use it?
I mean, of course they would use it.
So it shouldn't stop them. So people will use it,
No.
and
Also-
that's kind of how things work.
Adding into this, out of curiosity, what this is asking and trying to specifically see the source of the problem. However, though, usually metas, as far as I see, I've never seen a meta that lasts 5 years. But obviously, it might be an exaggeration. But like, usually metas,
Yeah,
in order for them to be
exaggeration.
a meta, they have to be that way for like a set period of months and maybe even a year at most. But even then, it is still a seasonal change. They will update it. I know League's meta usually is on a year-to-year basis because that's when they update it, and the meta will mildly shift based off champions that are being brought into the game, which is that little bit of extra flair into the current meta. But overall, the meta is usually defined by how the preseason looks and how the items are looking.
It's a big game of checks and balances that the developers have to play just so that they can accommodate for every player playing either a character that they want to play or characters that are like suitable for comp. They're
Yeah.
not necessarily like how do I explain this? There's a content creator I really like who made a really good explanation for it, called trickle down balance. If you balance your best characters or your best tools in a game, then it trickles down to other tools that are underutilized to have as much utility as the tools that are really good. So say for instance, you're playing a fighting game and like you have a bunch of top tiers. Well, what makes those top tiers really good? Well, they're good at this, this, and that. Why do you think we have bottom tiers? Because those characters are pretty weak on the things that the top tiers are good at. So that's how you build your meta. You oftentimes have to find the things that bring out the most optimal results. Sure, it may not be fun because everyone is using it, but understand that no one necessarily has a disadvantage. Everyone's using them.
Hmm.
Or at least that's how I see it.
Right. And on top of the I think we're going to be on this topic for a while, so we'll hopefully shift it after this in a bit. But I was gonna say is, I remember watching like a dev video, and they were explaining, and like it was explained that like you don't balance the game. It is very important that you make broken stuff. So they know, like it's like, I always hear like people who are like, oh, the people who balance this game are idiots. Why would they make such a broken character? It's not a matter of the fact that they are like doing this because it's like an accident. They want to make a broken character to build up hype for that character and to change things up. If the character was balanced and boring to play, you wouldn't want to play the character.
Okay, I guess it's kind of like the effect of like when you play against the boss, and then you get the boss as a playable character. It's like it goes from oh my god to oh my god, this is underwhelming.
Yeah. Why would you want to play something that was boring or like just making your fun worse? Yeah.
No, I get you.
But yeah, that was a pretty good one though. Who wants to add in their next favorite game?
Well,
Yeah, I was about to say.
I didn't even get to talk about the meta shit. Damn it, bro. I said he.
Here. Oh, here. I at least here. I want to hear because Hive didn't chime in at all on the meta stuff. Go for it.
Some of the funnest games are the most fucking broken games of all time, and they don't really have any kind of meta. And that's a lot of fighting games, especially Marvel 2, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It's very crazy how everything. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is the most broken piece of shit game ever, but it's like the best game ever.
Fuck
And
Dark
you know
Phoenix,
what
fuck Virgil's.
yeah, you know what the worst like metas are ever?
Hmm.
TC fucking G's, goddamn. Especially if you're playing them IRL. Yeah, that card's banned. Damn, I gotta spend more money. Fuck, make a new deck.
All I know is this. I'm sorry, Dean, about yesterday. However, though, this is a reason why, at least in Yu-Gi-Oh, when you're up against someone who is playing a meta deck, they'll start their turn and you go and grab lunch, come back and you lost the game because they beat you in one turn. In games like Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering, or, Runeterra, you will build up to that point. No one can beat you in the first turn at all. Or let alone 2, 3 turns, maybe 4 or 5, but then by then you have time to like actually deal with the threats.
I think that's kind of why I like Yu-Gi-Oh, because like it's really anime.
Really
Just
anime.
like doing turns, it's like, damn, I got one shot anime move. That's crazy.
This isn't even my final form.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is fucking okay. Yes. So that was that was because Rico had brought up this topic. Dean, Maniacal, what about you two?
You want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Go for it.
Okay, top 5 favorite games off the top of my head, in no particular order. 1, Animal Crossing, because I got into it thanks to Smash Bros, and it's probably one of my most time spent games on my Switch. I love Animal Crossing. It's very calming. I love the characters in it. I love the customization. And I know people might not like the idea of Sims games being games, but I have had the most fun fishing out of all like things I could be doing. I've had the most fun like collecting gold and rocks and clay and then crafting stuff. And better yet, I've been playing the game since New Leaf, so I didn't even get the luxury of doing that. I just love having something to do every day and going to meet like all the characters that I've grown a relationship with. And that mattered a lot to me at the time when I was playing New Leaf and now with Animal Crossing New Horizon. Number 4, Fallout New Vegas. I love that game so much. It has a lot of depth. Everyone I knew who played Fallout had kept on talking about everything great that happened in New Vegas, so I picked up New Vegas. I'm sorry if I haven't gotten the chance to play 3 or 4. Um I think it's just a really in-depth game, and if I had to talk about it, I'd need like 2 more hours. Um Sonic Riders. It's one of my favorite racing games on the GameCube, and it has a banger soundtrack. Um I guess the fighting game that really did things for me was Smash 4. I know that there's Melee and I know we have Ultimate now, but if it weren't for Smash 4, I wouldn't have made a lot of my really good friends and I wouldn't have discovered Animal Crossing. Uh 2, it's a split between Payday 2 and TF2. They're my most played games because I have 1,000 hours in each, and they're both really fun or not competitive, but like very fun games that you could play with friends, and they really meant a lot to me because of just how much fun I've had with them, and especially TF2 because it mattered a lot to me when I was growing up. Um, and my last game, I guess. Um, just
Just
Well, No More Heroes. I really like No More Heroes. It's a really fun hack and slash. I enjoyed playing 1 and 2. I haven't played 3 yet, but I also am really happy that I got to play TSA, even though it's not like an actual um No More Heroes game. It's still really fun. I love the soundtrack to that one specifically. Like the Death Drive music is like one of my favorite songs out of the entire soundtrack. But also I need to buy 3 and I need to play it because I love the No More Heroes game so much.
I think if anything, this is a good point to pull out. Fucking music in video games, especially with
Oh,
what.
you can't get me started with that.
No, come on, dude. This is why we're talking about this. And I'm pretty sure every single one of us here has an iconic song from a game that we either can't get out of our heads or love listening back to.
My favorite Animal Crossing song is KK Cruisin'. I could listen to that for hours on end. It's just such a really relaxing jingle that I love. I love how Animal Crossing has their music set to times. During certain times of the day, there are different types of music that play, and I love every single bit of it because it's unique to like how someone in their average day probably feels at that point in time.
Yeah. Here,
I
hold on.
love.
Just gonna quickly add on in because people are raising their hands to add into your topic.
Yes.
Go ahead, Rico and Hive. Rico first because I see that he's the latest one.
Sorry. I was just gonna say when it comes to because I agree with Dean like a lot of it's pretty fun, and I also had the Xenos real quick. There, I will say so. I'm not the biggest fan of certain sim games, but even when I did play Animal Crossing, it is pretty fun just to kind of chill out and all, everything. And also to add to that, it's always so interesting to me that literally a game could have the simplest or the most complex mechanics, and all it takes for a gamer just to have good, calm fun is to add fishing, and it's just one of the best games ever. I mean, that's of course hyperbole, but I feel a lot of people like say that. Like when Skyrim got fishing finally, people were like, "Oh my god, it's amazing!" And also for video game music, I will say I don't remember. Growing up, actually, this is a lie. My favorite all-time music to listen to were the Pokemon themes and all the Kirby games on the DS. Those are amazing music. And now, as an adult, it's mostly Metal Gear Solid Revengeance because you can't lie to me that has a bomb ass soundtrack.
A
Hell
lot of memes
yeah.
have been coming out about like out of nowhere for Metal Gear. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Listen,
Like the
memes just
fucking
get
Senator
recycled.
Armstrong. Like, yeah, it is a really good song too. That song. So
Yeah.
Also
Also,
Maxor.
yeah, that too.
Go ahead, Hive. I know you had your hand raised for a hot minute too.
So like favorite video game songs. Damn. I have a couple. There is the Moon River Climax remix from Bayonetta 2. Um, and then there's Jump Up Superstar from Super Mario Odyssey, which is like, dude, that song is so good.
It
Um,
is.
fucking what is it? I forget the name. Shit. Damn, I can't remember. Shit.
Right. I was gonna say,
Oh,
but I
Nero's theme from DMC
Mm.
5.
Double trigger, hell yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
pull my devil trigger.
Mhm.
I was gonna say, Maniacal, what about you? We haven't heard from you. What you got anything to add in for music and video games?
I'd have to say I'm a huge orchestra fan, also, or like classical music fan. So a lot of games like Legend of Zelda, Skyrim, uh,
Mongolian throat singing.
yeah, even some of the Halo stuff. All
I say
really,
that
Halo's really
because
good.
I say that because there's a Doom Eternal song with Mongolian
Mm.
throat singing, and
Yeah,
a
it's
lawnmower
kick-ass.
as a synthesizer.
I have another one. I just remembered.
Go for it.
Fucking God damn it! I just forgot it. Fuck. Um. It was. It like. It was. I remembered it when Maniacal was talking, and it just left my brain.
I was gonna say,
Excuse me.
hold on, side note. I'm gonna go ahead and read off the Skittles from chat as well, adding in that Witcher 3, Hades, Stepmania, Rockstar, Smash Bros. 64, Kirby Dream Land, and Ocarina of Time. And there's clearly like a lot more to this, but there are a lot of
I
games that we all
remember
enjoy.
I remember.
Splatoon music.
Hold on. I, if for me, there's one soundtrack that is almost always in my mind, and I can't get the last four chords out of my head. Doom, boom, do, doom.
I don't
Lord
know
of
what that
Lord?
is.
That's fucking Hades. Whenever you die in the game,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
The lyrics like theme in the Hades song sound so much similar.
right? They
Great.
do. It's okay, and the
Yeah.
thing is that there's a lot of songs that utilize this kind of like this kind of four chord
Yeah.
soundtrack. And on top is there's obviously a parody song about the four chords in every song that's very popular. But
isn't the channel called The Pendulum of Awesome?
it
Or
is.
something like that?
It is.
Yeah.
It's my sorry. It's the Axis of Awesome, I think it is, or
Yeah,
something like
Access
that.
of Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really funny song, and I would love to hear an updated version of the four chord song, like for modern day. But 100%, Hades soundtrack, all such a fucking banger. Along with, for me, the Doom soundtrack. Oh my god.
Which Doom? Yeah, to be more specific.
Doom Eternal at the moment.
Speaking of soundtracks, there's some people obviously watch the creator Maxo over here, who's been making also the Metal Gear Rising stuff. I didn't realize that the actual creator who made the music for Toontown made that music. I'm like,
Yeah.
are you dead ass?
Yeah.
Now that's the portfolio right there.
Oh, here we go. And Skittles is also adding in Cyberpunk as well. It is a really good soundtrack.
There's only two songs from Cyberpunk I care about. This one Japanese song where it's all about sex, and the Run the Jewels song that they made for the game.
I have another one.
What's
I
up,
just
Hype?
remembered, and it's from Metal Gear Rising, and it's probably one of the best songs besides the Sinner Armstrong one. It's the only thing I know for real. Dude.
Oh yeah.
Memories broken, the truth goes unspoken. I've even forgotten my name.
Yeah. Because that's the best thing about all the boss themes is that all of them, they're not just great bangers. They're literally telling you kind of like who they are as a person.
Yeah.
Who they're.
Oh,
I think what's
absolutely.
really funny is that I keep getting DMC5 music mixed up with Metal Gear Rising music.
There's a good way to like bring this topic to a smaller close. Bringing it back because Dark Souls is a huge thing for me. There's a lot of people who play Dark Souls 3, and when they finally get to the final boss and they enter his second phase, you hear Gwyn's soundtrack, the final boss from the very first game, and you're just like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah.
And then you realize you can't parry him, and then you start losing. But it's great.
I kind of have like a topic we could go off.
Well, hold on. Let me go ahead and first we haven't heard from Maniacal, nor myself about the favorite games. Maniacal.
Well, favorite games I'd have to say is Mass Effect because that's just something I it's an RPG. It's something I enjoy playing, and I because I like stories. That's my big thing. Is I like stories. That's the reason why I play. That's why reason why I play a lot of games is I just like a good story. So, and Mass Effect has got probably one of the best stories, even though they ended the story horribly. But hopefully, they can redeem themselves with the supposed Mass Effect 4 they're working on. So, that would be
feel
my
like
favorite game.
Who
Andromeda
really
2.
knows?
Andromeda did not help in the slightest.
It was
But
so broken. Oh my god.
yeah, but releasing Andromeda before Halo 4 was a smart idea because you know, it lets them know like, okay, let's not do anything we did in Andromeda with 4 or else we're going to be in some real trouble.
I know, right? You have a lot of people who are just
Is it
waiting for
that
the
old?
redemption arc.
Is
Andromeda?
that
Let me
old?
take a look.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was released in 2016.
What?
No, actually, no, sorry. Released in 2017.
Oh, I
2017.
mean, that's still.
It's like, sorry, that
Damn,
1 year
that's
difference
crazy.
makes all the difference.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Wow.
Right. We're wow, we're 5 years. And do we know a year release date for the newest one?
No.
Oh.
We got a teaser trailer for it, and that's it. We got Liara hiking her blue ass up a snowy mountain and picking up part of Shepard's armor and then looking at the camera.
I was gonna say.
That's
So guys, you guys ready? Because at this year we're gonna get a teaser showcasing a single polygon from Elder Scrolls 6.
yeah,
Actually, a polygon of a cheese wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
My thing.
It,
Oh, sorry. Go
it'll
ahead.
be like what happened in what's it called? It'll be like what happened with the San Andreas remake where
Oh no.
where with
Oh,
like
the
donut where
polygons.
like it has like a little like nut bolt and it's just a circle in the remake.
Yes.
It's a
Yeah.
it's supposed to be a nut. Why is it a whole circle?
yeah, but the game I'm looking forward to is Breath of the Wild 2
Oh yeah.
because it's rumored that it's supposed to be out late this year or early next year. So
The main thing I know, and fairly obvious. If there's any game I'm looking forward to, it's what's coming in February, and it's Elden Ring.
I'm just watching my dog fall asleep while it looks at me. Oh my god.
Also, side note, Mad World and Max Anarchy have really good soundtracks.
Yes, they
They
do.
do. Nobody knows about Anarchy, bro. Nobody.
I
knows.
wish it was on Steam, but it's only on Xbox and I can't play it.
Here,
Yeah.
I see Rico has his hand up. Go for it, Rico.
I'm with them. Like, I definitely like it. It's weird for me because like I know a lot of people have been doing this now, and some are hit or miss. But I do like the legacy that Telltale left behind when it comes to the Telltale storytelling of choose your own adventure. Some, of course, make it a little forceful and not that great, but others I feel like really do go well with that. And one of their, I think, last games that they made before they shut down was Tales from the Borderland. I like that because it expanded upon a series that usually, again, is about shooting and having a good time and crazy stuff, and it made you enjoy side characters that were so good that they were added into a later game. And I feel like you're also playing Borderlands in a way that is unorthodox. You're not just like shooting your way through. You can actually like talk your way through. You could even go kind of the full Borderlands way and just go full violent, and you can see how that impacts the story and the characters around you.
Rico playing
Absolutely.
a Borderlands game to not shoot people? Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say, Hive, you said you were gonna add in for a new topic idea.
Relaxing games. And I already know what me and Dizino are going to say. I think.
Relaxing.
You go
games,
ahead,
said?
buddy, since
Relaxing games.
Here, I will add into this topic. I'll be right back. Maniacal, you're in lead.
oh, that's thrilling. Headspace not even fully what?
I was gonna say if I recommend, like, since I brought it up, I feel like he might have one, and he wants to talk about, if he's okay with it.
Yeah, did you have something you wanted to talk about, Hive?
Look at the
Relaxing games for
dinosaur that's
me.
in front. You can't miss it.
Relaxing games for me are Dark Souls. You need to focus on.
I already talked about Animal Crossing, so I don't need to talk about more about Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, surprisingly, my relaxing game is for as of recently Slay the Spire. I really do like it.
Such a good game. I love it. It never got
It's a
past
game.
the second area.
Yeah, I mean, I've beaten it with the first two guys, but like it's always kind of hard for me to beat it with the other two, the defect, and the blind woman. But it's like, even when I lose, it's like every route is just me keep learning and learning and getting new things, and I'm like, I like this because I'm not. I know I can eventually get there, but it's not like I'm just beating myself up every time I lose. It's like, oh, I lost this time. Better remember what I learned this time, and put it into the next one.
Oh,
Same thing with Dead Cells. Dead Cells is a
yeah.
relaxing one for me.
Another one is this game called Going Under. If anybody's heard about it,
Yeah.
it's like this roguelike where you're like in this like big tech company. You're like an intern or whatever. They have like different like sections you can go to. They even make fun of like crypto people in one like dungeon you can go down into. It's really funny, and a lot of the characters are pretty cute, and you can pet a dog. So
I have that game
Dog
and I
petting?
still need to finish it.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really funny how there's a Twitter dedicated to like, can you pet this dog?
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and to be honest, if you can pet the dog, that's an A+ game for me right there.
It's funny because there's this indie game that's like a beat 'em up, where you actually like recruit dogs as a homeless guy, and and the dog from that Twitter is in the game because during like the beta of the game, they made a tweet saying like, yes, you can pet all of the dogs in this indie game, in this beat 'em up. And so they added that dog to like their roster of dogs you can recruit.
I know
What about
there's.
that?
Go ahead, Rico.
Yeah, it's very, very funny. Like you just pet every dog by the end of the beat 'em up. It's just an army of dogs helping you attack people.
Yes.
Yeah, but I also know there's one game called Pet the Dog, and it's you're at a house party, and your whole main objective is to storm through the house like a madman trying to find the dog so you can pet it. You have like a set time limit. You have like a minute to find the dog, and you're just like, God, where? You listen for the dog, and the dog will bark, and you'll be like, ah! I think Markiplier did a playthrough of it.
You just like rampage through people just to pet a dog?
Yeah, wouldn't I would?
No. I'm asking if that's how it's played. I'd love to play something like that if that's how you actually play it.
Yeah.
You just start trampling people to go pet a dog. This is amazing.
This man really out here being like, what the dog doing?
I'm gonna break into people's houses just to pet their dog.
You hear woof woof. People hear stomping coming through there. They break through there. They're screaming, say, "Get out of our house!" Just you pet the dog and immediately run out, and they're just confused as hell.
I
My
walk
dog
into
has
a house. I walk into a house with a really angry dog, and I just like lightly tap it and then just leave.
Yeah, it's like office. It's like what was wrong? And like miss. It's like well, he burst into our house and did he steal anything? No, he just pet our dog and left. It's like, ma'am, next time you call us, actually make it something serious.
Hey,
The
you know
the
this
head
guy.
patting constraint.
Yeah, like, officer, I'd like to complain about a trespasser. What is he doing? Well, he's playing with our dog. Is it a child? No, it's a 20-year-old man. He's just playing with our German Shepherd. Ma'am, is he? Does he look autistic? God,
Actually, Actually, I think you should retract that. That's kind of fucked up.
nah. Yeah, I don't know. Look, I don't look. I'm not politically correct. I don't know what's wrong or right.
Well, maybe not autistic being like the worst thing you can say.
Well, no, I
Yep.
mean,
I would say maybe like, has he hurt anyone? Has say no? Has he done any of this? Say no. That well, as long as he is just petting your dog and not hurting anyone, I'd say just leave it. We'll probably just write him up, and then after that, it's
You're out,
fine.
you're outside someone's house, ready to do what? Here's Johnny, just to break into the house to pet someone's dog.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. But yeah, when it comes to games, I feel like because I'll be honest, like as much as I talk about No More Heroes a lot, I have it. I barely played the game, and that's not just the game's fault. That's just me being lazy. But like,
How could you? I've played both and TCA.
yeah. But my thing with games is that I'll be honest, for a good chunk of my life, and even now, because of lack of certain consoles and PC, most of my enjoyment of games have been through watching people. Like, because I've always wondered what this game would be like playing, and that's why I always like Let's Plays. It's not because I'm lazy, it's because I literally don't have the ability to play some of these games. So to see someone give me the ability to watch them play is always like, I feel like it's a privilege not a lot of people like get. Because like before, all of this on the internet, you had to have someone in your house or go to a friend's house to like see them play a game, and that's only for like a set amount of hours before you got to go home. But now you
Oh
can literally
man,
open up your phone, find playthrough or let's play, and you can find episodes upon episodes of someone playing a game that you just love seeing.
I did the same thing as a kid because I couldn't afford to buy a PlayStation to play all the games I wanted to play. No. I watched videos of people playing games, or even like if I really wanted to and wanted to learn everything I could about a game that I thought was really cool, I'd watch like lore videos and stuff because I think I wanted I because you don't need to play a game to be invested in a world, but the game is where you get most of the experience from. Like I love Persona 4, but I just can't play the game. Or at least like the attempt I had, it just wasn't fun.
I'm back.
That's like yeah, that's like me and Bayonetta. It's like I like playing Bayonetta, but I watch more lore videos about Bayonetta than actually playing Bayonetta itself.
So are we still on the? What was the topic that you had introduced? Type?
Relaxing games.
yeah, we just kind of been.
It kind of just became a thing we answered while we were
Yeah,
waiting for you.
Oh, I
So
get
it's
you.
not even a topic really.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you guys gonna go able to since you had to.
No, go for it.
Not like you can talk about your relaxing games. So we all basically talked about ours.
Well, Xena's relaxing game is Dark Souls.
No, it's not.
Well, Hive said so.
Well, okay.
yeah.
It is among my favorite relaxing games. But if I were to say a game that I can jump back on, there was always one game that like I was just at a certain point in my life where I wasn't doing too well. So my friend's like, you know what? I'm gonna get you this game. You're gonna enjoy this edible, and you're just gonna have fun with it. And I'm like, okay, what game am I playing? Slime Rancher. That was the most like that was among one of the most fun times I had. And granted, it was probably different because I was under the influence due to an edible. But regardless, I just kept coming back to it because it was just really fun and relaxing. There was no stress. I enjoyed just taking my time through the game, and it was just fucking blast. It's not like it was like it's this super enthralling like, oh, you got to time these maneuvers correctly. No, just get some slimes, cage them, put them through shit, and then you're all good. Look at them happy, and then you collect their shit and you sell it for money. It's fucking genius. But at the same time, I do have a weird thing where I like, what was it? Where someone would be like, oh, I gotta relax. I'm gonna go play some Dark Souls. Why was that relaxing to you? It's just, I don't know. It just fucking is.
It's
Maybe
we
I want
know
to maybe I
well.
want to dodge roll into my bed.
It's just a game we know super well. 'Cause we put so many hours into it. It's like,
Oh, hold on. How many hours you got?
I don't. Do I count like the Xbox hours too?
I'd imagine
Yeah.
because like I also have like time. I also have time put on like for my console as well, which is maybe a third, if not a quarter, of the time I've actually played overall. But it's like, let's see if I actually were to put it up. I have it right here. Prepare to Die. Dark Souls 1 Prepare to Die edition, 270 hours. Dark Souls Remastered, 4 hours because it was remastered. Dark Souls 3, 616 hours. Dark Souls 2, 90 hours. I still need to finish this.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I have Dark Souls 2 as well.
So I'm assuming I have like well over like 1,000 hours in just the entire From Software lineup, and that's not including like Bloodborne or well, hold on, and then there's also Sekiro. Yeah, there's a lot.
With on console for Dark Souls 2, I probably have well over like 1,000 hours. Dark Souls 3 on the PC, like I think 76 around like high 60 to 70 hours. I also played it on console, so that's probably like a couple more 100 hours.
You know,
I never
Hold on.
ended up finishing Dark Souls 1.
I'll finish that with you. But hold on, I'm actually curious because granted, there's our favorite games of all time because they meant a lot to us. But out of curiosity, what game do you guys think you've inputted the most time into? Now, obviously, me and I have already answered. I want to hear from the rest of you.
On the Switch, Animal Crossing New Horizon. On Steam, Team Fortress 2 and Payday 2, because those two games specifically have 1,000 hours in my Steam. Probably even more hours in TF2 because growing up, I used to play TF2 all the time on like people's like laptops because I didn't have a proper PC at the time.
Maniacal. Rico.
I would say if we're doing Switch, it would be I've got about 200 hours in Breath of the Wild. Mass Effect, I've got about 2,000. Let's see, I think it's like 2,536. And then Fallout, Fallout and Skyrim about over 1,000 each. So Mass Effect would be the one that I have the most time invested in.
Uh, Maniacal, I don't know how to tell you this, but I have 800 hours in Animal Crossing New Horizon.
Yeah, it's 800 hours in Animal Crossing Horizon. What's your point?
I have a lot of free time, and it was a really good game during the quarantine.
It really was.
It was.
I probably should play more because there are events that I'm missing out on. But Deep Rock Galactic is just way too fun.
Two games I probably have the second most time in is League of Legends and a little game called Dragon's Dogma.
Dragon. Wait, why does the dragon have a dog?
What's the dog doing?
I love that. That's one of my favorite sounds. What the dog doing?
Yeah, I'd say like for me, games growing up, it's definitely been mostly Pokemon. Like I remember there was literally a summer when I think it was Black and White when it came out, and I got it in the summer. I played Black and White 2. It was literally like the only game I had at the time, and I played it every day of summer. And I think I beaten the Elite Four legitimately over 300 times. And I was just like, wow, this is a lot that I've done. This is insane. And right now, like I said earlier, it's the one I'm playing more of is like Slay the Spire. I'm trying to get into playing a little bit more of XCOM. It's fun. I'm just very bad at managing the game.
Xena,
Yes.
you know the secret ending to Silent Hill 1?
I actually don't.
The dog.
Oh. I was about to say what the dog doing, but I don't.
What the fuck is the dog doing in that?
What is the dog doing?
Talk about like hours of games, but like which ones have we like gone to the extra mile and like either like did it on like the hardest difficulty or like completely completed?
I would say,
Um,
for me, the first game I ever like 100% completed, and it's like on my PlayStation, is fuck name of it, Prototype 2.
Oh damn, I never got to play that game.
It is. It was super addicting for me, and when I noticed like how some of the challenges like, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, I'm like, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's fucking take it to the next level.
a prototype is on Steam.
Yeah. Oh, okay. A game that I went
Um,
above and beyond. I would say Dishonored. Dishonored on the highest difficulty, all stealth. That was a pain in the ass to do, but I felt very proud of myself after completing it.
there's there are two folders on my Steam called Mostly Finished and Open Day. Open Day games means they're really small games that I just haven't finished at all because I like them a lot. I just never finished them. And the other one is mostly finished, and currently it's Battle Block Theater, Fallout New Vegas, and Guacamelee. Because technically speaking, those three games, I'm like very close to finishing them. I just got very tired and bored of playing them because I burnt myself out by playing them for so long, and I'm not ready to just finish them at like right on the spot.
I get that.
What about you, Rico, Maniacal? Games that you've gone the extra mile for?
Oh,
Uh,
Oh, Sina, do you mind if I uh, re- change my response real quick?
There you go for it.
Technically, well, those were games that I hadn't finished. Games I finished. Well, off the top of my head, actually, hold on, I have it on my Steam. Um, oh, uh, Portal 1 and 2, Hollow Miami 1, Hollow Miami 2, and Half-Life 2. I still need to finish Half-Life 2, Episode 1 and 2, and any other game that I haven't finished yet.
Alright, alright. Digging it. Everyone else?
oh, Maniacal, and then I'll add one more.
uh, I don't have. I don't have an answer.
Well, I think we definitely have been like on this gaming topic for a while. This is probably as good of a place to call it here.
No, don't start me on my game.
Huh?
Bayonetta 2. I beat that shit on the hardest difficulty. That shit was hard.
Oh,
Oh, that's right. I completely
Did
forgot to
both
listen to yours.
Bayonetta games on the hardest difficulty actually, because when you got it, fuck, I knew I was gonna mention this fucking thing. When I got it on the Wii U, you got the first game too. So I
Wait,
just
you're saying that it came with the Wii U?
no, when you bought Bayonetta 2 for the Wii U when it came out, you got the first Bayonetta with it as like a package deal, which was crazy. Like you got like a whole free game when you bought Bayonetta 2.
It
And
kind of reminds me of what they did with the Fractured Butthole, where like you would actually
yeah,
get like the first game along with the second one when you pre-ordered the second.
yeah.
Some companies, man, they really do just go the extra mile. All right,
yeah.
now.
I mean, it's
Sorry, what was it, D?
I mean, it's better than the rag they gave Japanese players to when they pre-ordered Bayonetta 2.
All right.
They gave them a
Oh,
rag.
rag. Oh,
Like
God.
you can clean your desk or your TV with it, you know. Something simple. Keep in mind Bayonetta has a one-handed mode. But you know, you don't need to know that.
No. And so, is that? I'm pretty sure this is a good spot to give it a call here. We thank everyone so much for joining in. It's been a pleasure having you all join us for today's talk. If you guys enjoyed today's content and want to support what we do here, feel free to follow and subscribe on Twitch, Obviously, it helps us get towards that stream goal and helps me do what I want to do for a living. And for any notifications, possible chance to participate in our Lich Lounges and content polls, follow the Twitter, check out the TikTok, join the Undead Legion on Discord, and for any VODs of today's episode, check out the Xenolich YouTube channel. Maniacal, you want to finish off?
Goodbye, all.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Sayonara.